For someone who wants to become a PM in 2025, is there a default path anymore?
There never was. It was always convoluted and risky. There have been always two paths to do it.
Do you believe candidates still need a technical background, or has that requirement faded in today's PM world?
Now, if you are not able to work technical approaches, especially with AI, you are so far behind.
What should be a PM resume include and what it should not include?
Your CV resume needs to prove that you are a great fit for the role you're applying. What it definitely should include is... What it shouldn't contain is...
Folks, welcome to another podcast episode of Product Founder. Today we have Dr. Bart. I'm so excited to talk to you, Dr. Bart. Would you like to introduce yourself briefly?
Hi, I'm Dr. Bart. I am a product management content creator, senior product manager. I teach product management and I do probably dozens of stuff related to that, but they always... I have a book, Next Gen Product Manager, and you can find me on LinkedIn as Dr. Bart Jaworski. I post almost every day. You will have fun with my memes and learn a lot from the posts. So follow me as soon as possible, and I'm happy to have been invited. It's a pleasure to meet you and looking forward to your questions.
Wonderful. Yeah, Dr. Bart, you have a massive following on LinkedIn and you helped a lot of people to start with their product management roles. So I would say for someone who wants to become a PM in 2025, where should they realistically start? Is there a default path anymore?
There never was. It was always convoluted and risky, and there have been always two paths to do it. Either just jump onto it as an APM or a junior product manager, or go on with your career as a designer, developer, scrum master, anything connected to tech, and then work your way up from the by helping product manager, by taking some of the work, by talking to your manager that you want this is your desired career path, and see where it goes. And I would say that in 2025, the path of going straight to a junior role is even harder than it used to be. There are fewer roles open and the competition is even more fierce. Not to mention our not necessarily biological competition that's out there to making itself known. So yeah, I think that just find what you like in tech and use it to grow a talent and a position that will allow you to jump on to being a product manager later down the line. That's always been the realistic approach, but I'll be honest, that's probably not appealing, but I'd be like to if I said anything else.
Do you believe candidates still need a technical background, or has that requirement faded in today's PM world? Let's pause here for a second. The other day, I was looking into our channel analytics and I noticed many of you guys are watching a lot of our episodes but not yet subscribed to our YouTube page or Spotify. I will ask you as a favor, please support us by subscribing to our YouTube page and Spotify page, and I will promise you I will do everything in my power to make each episode better and better. Thank you.
I would say the opposite is true. They didn't need it previously, and now if you are not able to work technical approaches, especially with AI, you are so far behind. It's probably now pretty mandatory to not to be in like machine learning expert, but to utilize the AI tools available to get you more efficient, quicker, no more experiment quicker. That's all out there, and without proper knowledge and without proper tools, you will be just a child walking blindly in an AI forest, not getting too much of it. And that's a recipe for losing time, not being more efficient. And it's also up to your flow, what you know, how you work, to find the tools that work for you. I've tried to go into AI agents several times, and I wasn't successful not because it's too complicated technically or I wasn't patient enough. I just didn't find a right process that would actually help me day to day. I don't have a flow that I can automate this way. So if I insisted on learning and using AI agents, I would probably kept on losing time, and that's not the point.
Can you name few other tools?
Definitely ChatGPT is the one that is most prevalent, and Claude is like my second favorite. I sometimes, if I have a research topic or looking for inspiration, I would do a clash of AIs, just literally pulling out ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, Bart is it called now? Gemini. I did try the Chinese one, I don't remember its name at the moment.
DeepSeek.
DeepSeek, yes, that's right. And I try to see what comes with the best solution. And it's very funny when they come up with the same bad solutions. So the funny part in the AR world is that you can't really rely on it. You have to be able to use it, but probably just to spark your own creativity or to be able to demonstrate that you know how to. But still, it's all in you. You will be the product manager. You will have to face the music, face the market, face the users, stakeholders. And no AI manager or mom, for that matter, will be able to help you. You need to have the guts, the right instincts, the right fundamentals, and carry on from there.
So let's say someone wants to learn to become a PM today, and we talk about all these AI tools as well. So how the roadmap will look like?
Out of university, you need to identify an entry-level position that you will feel comfortable with. Whether that's, as I mentioned, developer, designer, Scrum Master, anything that can realistically get you hired without having that PM experience. You need to get it. And the best way to do it from there is to get to like a mid-level of that position, while in the meantime working on your theory or like use cases of product management, plus ideally, say using Lovable, create your own product and put yourself a goal to achieve it with it. Whether that's a conversion goal or a goal of the number of users, it can all be as you please, as you feel comfortable, as long as you can demonstrate later success with it using metrics and demonstrate that you used a loop of research, experimentation, and conclusion in order to prove that you got the product management principles right and you can use them successfully.
When you say reaching a mid-level, so how's the process look like for someone who doesn't have any experience to reach a mid-level of that role?
Honestly, just work the usual 9 to 5 and be a reliable employee that works hard, delivers on promises, is a force that supports colleagues and helps the PM to achieve common goals. So be that, other than being a good coder or a creative designer, being also a diplomat that has the underlying goals in mind and helps PM to achieve it, rather than being too focused on what's important to this particular position. It's quite common with, say, developers where they sometimes get too deep into coding, where they think, maybe rightfully so in many companies, that the best investment in product would be to fix technical debt or change that one library or refactor that one code that they hate. But it's very also quite often where this push to do that is counterproductive, as it won't benefit the users. It will be time invested in something that might not ultimately work or improve the situation. And yet the product person will still have the goals to achieve, and very often the management side won't be interested in hearing about fixing bugs and technical debt. So if you are to set good fundamentals for a future product promotion, be that ally of product. See the big picture and don't be at the extreme of what you perceive as your needs in the position that is designed to ultimately lead you to becoming a PM.
Many people transition into PM from other roles like design, engineering, or marketing. Which background gives people the strongest foundation, do you think?
I would say that data analysis is that foundation that you seek in this situation. The reason for that is that it's focused around a specific problem challenge where you need to find data that answers a question or a challenge that you're facing. And if you are a developer, you're probably too close to the code and need to have a wider picture. On the other hand, designers would be too much focused on the users and the front end, not to find that technical compromise that's very often needed. So yeah, I think data analysis is where you want to go right now, or even previously even.
And if someone has no PM experience, what's the one way they can show product thinking on their resume or portfolio?
As mentioned, by creating your own product, by having something of your own where you set your goal, where you apply the product management process and being successful at it, or not being successful and knowing why and what would you need in order to turn this around.
So you suggest that if someone wants to become a PM today, one of the best approaches, you build a product with the tools that you have, and you kind of have a showcase of data that proves that you had a hypothesis, and then you validate it, and then there are users that are using your product, right?
Yeah, that's it. Actually, my best product would be my social media presence. I got the best success, the best return on investment, the most glory, all using my own work, a little bit of maybe unknown previously writing talent, and just benefiting of my strengths and applying my product management knowledge and skills in order to grow that audience and adapt to ever-changing algorithm on LinkedIn.
Can you a little bit more elaborate what kind of opportunities you got as a PM using like social media?
For one thing, it's looking for stuff that will work, that will get me engagement. And for a time, those were so-called carousels, where it was basically a few images, one after another, that created a long infographic, which is long since been not liked by LinkedIn. There was a brief period at the beginning of the year where LinkedIn sort of had TikTok aspirations, and it really liked short videos, so everyone jumped on that bandwagon. However, unfortunately, it was abandoned very, very quickly because it simply did not work for LinkedIn the way they intended. That also means looking for smaller creators that have a successful post, understanding why this post was successful, whether it's the way it was written, maybe it's the image attached to it. You never know. And when you find something that was that successful for a small creator, you just need to sit down and digest it and see if you can experiment your way to replicate it. Because doing this on your own without looking at it's called competitors, is very hard. And it won't be any easier if you don't seek stuff that works, that you can replicate and get another viral post for yourself.
What do you see working today? Because I agree with you that in the beginning of the year, videos were very effective. We also, on the podcast, we used to post videos and get massive impressions. But over a period of time, we also noticed that the videos started to have a decline.
Honestly, it feels random at the moment. Some posts gather no impressions and no engagement. Some posts blow up, and I'm not sure what is happening right now. I'm pretty sure that the LinkedIn team is experimenting with what works best, and they've been doing it since beginning of the year with different new approaches, but it changes so rapidly and so quickly that there's simply no answer what works, because even if I knew what works at the moment, it might be it might not work when this goes live. So you just need to try your best and go back to the basics. And the basics are a good image, good content that is designed to improve your audience knowledge, to share value, and see what happens. Some of the posts will be successful, some won't, and it comes with the social media territory, so to say. And there's simply no guaranteed way of posting to a point where it will be successful all the time. But it's not about one viral post a year. It's about consistency and getting good engagement on an ongoing basis, so you can have steady income of followers and people who enjoy your content.
Now, stepping back to someone who wants to land their first PM job, what should be a PM resume definitely include, and what it should not include?
What it definitely should include is how you is the focus on results as represented by metrics and improvements. And this style of presenting on how you helped to gather specific growth opportunities using your actions is the thing that shines the most. What it shouldn't contain is the details about the companies or the products you've worked on. Unless you are trying to get hired by direct competitors, you are not trying to use the CV to prove that you worked on great products or worked in the best companies. Instead, you are trying to showcase that you have a great product management process that you can replicate and bring value to your next employer.
And is there anything you suggest absolutely avoiding?
Nothing comes to mind, but I think that what I've already listed is quite a thing that happens very often and unfortunately leads to losing your opportunity at a specific job. One thing came to mind. Never use one generic CV. Your CV resume needs to prove that you are a great fit for the role you're applying. And no generic CV will be able to do that. And you can just do a little bit of customization with a table above your experience saying, why do I believe I am great for this role? 4 or 5 bullet points. AI will love it. People who read that later love it. And it shows that you've made a little bit of additional effort. Because if you go on and simply add bullet points that match the requirements, then you are making it difficult for the recruiter to see that you are a great fit. Why not make it easy for them? They supposedly have only a few seconds to look at your CVs, especially now when there's an influx of candidates with great background. So if you can prove with a few bullet points that you should be contacted, then it makes the other side's job so much easier.
Speaking of the interviewers, do you think has there been any change in what they're looking this year compared to past few years, so then the new candidate can prepare better for that?
I think there will be just strong emphasis on having AI experience to prove that you've already released some generative AI-based features in your previous products and you can do it again. Other than that, it's remained quite fixed over the years.
Can you walk us through how you would advise someone to prepare for a PM case interview or product sense interview?
That's not like a single question to answer. There's lots of different types that you need to consider. But the best, like a generic way to learn is to analyze success of existing products. You need to understand the history in order to repeat it, like an inverse of the saying. And that feeds your brain with inspiration, what worked in the past, what might work again in the future. And that's quite universally beneficial. Not to mention, it really works wonders on the job interview if you can just casually drop a mention of some products in the past on how they did it and how you can adapt it to the job that you are applying for, which shows you are an expert, someone who studied personally product management, and you are able to use those stories to get future projects successful.
How would you suggest is the best way to have a great storytelling when you're having an interview?
It's very important, just like the communication is the key there in this interview. You need to realize that you have around 40 minutes to prove to the person on the other side that you are the best possible candidate for the job that you talk to. There's no space for bad communication. And good communication, storytelling-wise, is one that is fully understood. And that means that given that there's a set of questions that the interviewer is about to ask you, and it's not 1 or 2 or 3 questions, you start with time locking yourself so that you are able to tell the story within those 5-6 minutes. The story should start, in my opinion, with the punchline, like a quick attention grabber that will impress the interviewer, then an intro on what you want to share. Later, details, where you start with a bullet point this and then go one by one, and then close with a summary to repeat the most important bits of information you needed to pass on, while also proving and reinforcing the punchline that you opened with.
Let's say if a candidate does all this right, but they don't get the job, what's the best way to turn that rejection into a learning opportunity?
Being very insistent on getting feedback from the interviewer on what could have been improved, what could have gone better, what do you need to still work on. Nowadays, unfortunately, that's not too often that you get that feedback. But the best companies in the later stages of the job interview process will invest a little bit to get you understanding what happened. And I think very important part of this is to get to a point where you will hear, you've done everything correct, but we went with candidate that we felt is a better fit. Your instinctive reaction to this would be, oh, I'm so unlucky, I fail, oh, come on, how could this happen to me? This is a success, actually. If you've done everything right, you can't do anything with who applied to the job. If you got a second place, that means you are ready to be the winner eventually. And this is the key message, that you've done everything correct. Sorry you have to go with another person, but we really loved you. And that means that you have the winning formula, and it's just a matter of time before you actually get that job. Maybe from another process, or maybe from the same company later down the line because you made a good impression. So putting yourself in a self-punishing situation where you blame yourself or blame the galaxy for not getting a job doesn't push you anywhere, really. You either need to know what to improve or be happy with the fact that you are at the place where you are hireable. You just need to find a situation where you'll be the best fitting candidate and not someone else. And
what skills do you think PMs should double down on in 2025? I'm sure your answer is going to be AI, but even in this spectrum of AI, which part do you think is now the most important that they have to double down?
I would say that I'll surprise you. I won't say AI, just because I said it already too many times. I will instead say that the good old communication, a good old leadership and diplomacy, and focus on goals are what you want to nourish in yourself in order to be the best possible PM, soft skills-wise. Because you probably are not able to steer your product focus experience very effectively. What do I mean by that? You can work in a company that had never interest in applying any AI, and you won't have a success story of implementing an AI feature because the management never saw the opportunity. You can do it yourself, okay, but if you are a sitting PM, then your home fiddling with AI won't be what the companies will look for. Actually, that's sort of okay in a way that it's the circumstances that put you there, not your bad choices. And unfortunately, this is the reality of being hired, that not always were you in a position where you could do anything better. But that doesn't stop you from trying, from learning, from saying how can you approach those issues. You can't get management to approve an AI project. Build with a single developer a proof of concept of something that can work and try to bedazzle the management. Push it, because it's not really that you want it in the product. You need it in your portfolio. And just being focused on that and product manage your process of getting this skill might ultimately lead somewhere.
We are slowly getting close to the end of the podcast episode. Is there something you would like to share with the listeners, something to check?
Well, definitely check me out on LinkedIn as Dr. Bart Jaworski. I'll welcome any new follower. I'll welcome you personally if you reach out with a connection request. You can always ask me a question and I make it my point to answer to each individual one. It might take me a little bit more time than it used to now when my family has grown. But if you liked what I tried to say about product management and product management interviews, you can always go to www.drbartpm.com. I have a few courses there on product management. I don't want to call it basics, but let's call it fundamentals, with this focus on practicality. Same for the being successful in product management interviews, which I did record it I think 2 years ago, but it's still pretty up to date and will definitely help you if you struggle. But also, I am a mentor. I organize mock interviews and I'm happy to help you out personally. And you can find all the links necessary on my website.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining this podcast episode.
Thank you for having me, and happy to come again if you'd have me.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Wow, you made it till the end. I'm very proud of you. Comment down below which part of the podcast did you like the most and who should I interview next. Also, on the screen, you will see a lot of our other great episodes that you should definitely check out.